Welcome back, family, to NorthsideLDN. Today, we've got the news of Mbappe confirming that he's going to leave PSG. Is Arsenal the front runners for his signature? Listen, before we get into it, we got Igal. How you doing, Igal? What are you saying?
I'm chilling, bro. Been a good week. Been kicking it, making some headlines. You know what it is, man.
Right. Let's not waste no time. Mbappe confirmed by Fabrizio that he's leaving PSG this summer. Obviously, he's going to be a free agent. His contract will be up. He'll be a free agent. Do you see Arsenal signing up Mbappe in the summer?
Bro, I've been there. I've seen the images of Mbappe, Henry wearing the number 14 shirt. It looks amazing. But the reality is, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to get sucked into this one. I am not going to get myself emotionally attached to the potential opportunity of signing Kylian Mbappe because his wage structure would be absolutely mental. Now, should Arsenal go for him if we can? Of course. But is it ever even possible, especially with Real Madrid dreams, especially with Jude Bellingham, Vinny, Tchouameni all telling him, yo, come over here? I don't think so, man. How is Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba going to lure Mbappe to Arsenal over that club? It's never going to happen. It's going to be so difficult. But should Arsenal get him? Of course. But will it happen? I don't think so, man.
Listen, I feel like Real Madrid are going to get him over the line. They're already making a fortune with the new stadium and the extra revenue. Real Madrid, as soon as they want a player, more times than not, they get the player. They got the clout. They got the history. They continuously win stuff. And he's already come out and said that that's his preferred move. Obviously, now, if anything happens, we should still be in talks with Mbappe. I think players like this, when there's an opportunity to sign them, you pounce on that. You know, I remember when we pounced on Ozil. Yes, the club wasn't run to the same. I think there was a lot of cogs missing around Ozil. We had Ozil and Alexis. I'm sure you remember that. But that was a big signing, and it gave us a massive boost. And now that certain things have improved at the club, I would say, from the times of Ozil, we should be looking to sign players like Mbappe, especially the fact that we don't have to put down, the asking price. Yes, the wages are very, very high, but at the same time, look how much money he would generate for Arsenal. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see Arsenal signing Mbappe. I don't see Real Madrid allowing Mbappe, with the shortage of strikers. When we're talking about strikers, we've been speaking about Arsenal need a striker. When you're looking at these strikers, even though I want Tony, I wouldn't call him world class. A lot of times we're looking at the best of the rest. Majority of these strikers is not world class. Osman isn't world class. Whether people prefer one or the other, they're not world class. When
you're looking at Osman, because he's delivered for his club, some people might classify him as world class.
Nah, not good enough. Sorry. When I saw that Filo da Puta in the AFCON, he was rubbish. Playing up against Angolan fishermen and you can't score. I'm sorry, man. And you're the main striker. Nah, bro.
Ivan Toney's my guy. Ivan Toney's the guy I wanted from the longest time. I think he is the closest thing to Harry Kane for England, and he's probably the second best English striker. If we get Ivan Toney, bro, levels.
This is what I'm saying. So there's not many world-class strikers. There's a lack of talent out there right now of strikers that we'll say are world-class strikers that are in their prime.
No, what do you mean? You told me Balogun could be that guy one day.
Nah, I never told you that. I never told you that. I never told you that. I wanted Balogun to be third choice. Don't even try it. Yeah, I wanted him to be third choice. I wanted to get rid of Nketiah, bring in Tony, and Balogun could be third choice and give him the chance to break into the team the way we have done with Nketiah, because I thought Nketiah's time is over. And looks like I'm proven to be right, because we need another striker and nobody's shouting for Nketiah to start. So it's one of them ones, isn't it? Nobody's running the Nketiah agenda. But like I was saying, there's a lack of talent out there for a striker like this. And for me, he has every element that I would want in a top player, bro. You see his performance that he put up against Argentina in the final, literally carrying that France team. You know what I mean? Yes, he's underachieved at PSG, but the whole structure's underachieved at PSG. Let's keep it real. Messi didn't win the Champions League while he was there. We're not going to start downplaying Messi's ability. I think the situation at PSG was too many Galacticos and too many cooks in the kitchen.
Is it his fault?
I don't think it was Mbappe's fault. I think it was the whole structure and the way that they were growing that squad and that team and the egos and etc. etc. So I don't take away from him what he's done at PSG. I think he's a world-class player. I think he's a top player. He's been doing it consistently. And for me, when you get the opportunities, Igal, to sign these players, you sign them up. That's how I look at it. Because when are you going to get another Mbappe where you don't have to pay the asking fee? I know his wages are something crazy. I'm sure I know you're good with the stats. I think he's like just under £1 million a week, something like that. And he gets a loyalty bonus.
Basically Real Madrid will have to pay him around £500K a week in wages, and then allow him to have the full control of all his commercial dealings. So you cannot make a penny off his commercial side. Anything that he does with Nike, anything he does with any company is done with him and his team's okay, and he makes all the money. Nobody else touches a penny of it. On top of that, Qatar gave him part of their wealth fund. They basically gave him an investment, 10% ownership of their nation's wealth fund. Bro, mental shit, bro. The guy is not worth only football money. His investments alone that he's made off being with PSG and staying for an extra year made him generational wealth. He doesn't have to make another penny from Real Madrid for him to live wealthy for the rest of his life.
So in terms of commercially, he's got all his commercial rights.
Every penny.
Okay, so it's not like, do you remember when they did the Galacticos at Real Madrid? I think the president had a portion of their image rights.
Yes.
They were making money off of their, okay, cool. Even with that, the way social media is right now, you can see, even when Neymar left Barcelona and went to PSG, a load of fans went alongside him. So in terms of newer fans coming to Arsenal, that's how we will make more money. More fans buying shirts, more fans now supporting Arsenal because Mbappe, because this new generation, I see it all the time. They're more fans of these stars than they are of their club, a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
I call it the LeBron effect. You know LeBron James in the NBA? Basically, people would jump ship and follow him to every team. He goes to Miami, they come to Miami. He goes to Cleveland, they go to Cleveland. He goes to the Lakers, they go to the Lakers. And it's basically like that. People started doing that with Ronaldo and Messi first. So it's definitely going to happen with him.
Yeah, listen, that's why I feel like, bro, it makes every sense for us to go and at least inquire on the situation. We've seen
But even if we inquire, are you thinking, if you're Mbappe, put yourself in his shoes, would you really begrudge the club if Mbappe chose Real Madrid over Arsenal?
No.
Okay.
And this is why I always push for winning, because I always look at it like this. Mbappe ain't coming to Arsenal. Yeah. And both me and Agal have both said that. We are just saying what we would like the club to do. And the club should be going out there trying to sell this project or whatever for him to come to the club. I remember last year, a lot of top gooners told me, oh, we got top 4, we got Champions League, we can attract world-class players. Well, go get me the world-class players. Go buy me some world-class players, because a lot of fans deemed it good enough attractive enough, us getting Champions League football, to bring in world-class players. But the problem is, the reason I push so hard for this club to win things is situations like this. When we got Sol Campbell, it's because we was winning league doubles. It's because we were dominating and winning trophies. And that was the allure. That was the allure of Sol Campbell leaving Tottenham to come to Arsenal. And that's how it happens. That's how it works. You know what I mean? I know Thierry Henry was a great servant, but he left, he went to Barcelona, won the Champions League. When you win these major honors, not only does it bring you trophies, it brings you that reputation of, okay, cool, I can look at you. Because for a long time, let's be real, at Arsenal, we've been looked at a stepping stone for those kind of clubs. Oh, let me go Barcelona to win the Champions League. Let me go to this club to win this and win that. And the problem is, until you get to that pinnacle, some players may look at you and say, because some players their decisions are made by history and winning trophies. Others are financial, right? So the players that you may get, it's either one or the other, a lot of them. Financial, or it's because they want to win trophies, mixed in with a bit of financial, but they know if they're good enough, the finances are coming.
No, sir, let me just say this. Not anymore. Arsenal Football Club is no longer a selling football club. And based on the movements and the way that we've acted over the last couple of months to the last year tells me that. The fact that we're signing players to new contracts immediately, making sure we don't put ourselves in the same stupid holes that we used to. The fact that we look like we're learning from the mistakes that we've made in the past as a football club. And when you hear Barcelona are interested in Gabriel Martinelli, right away you just know it's BS. When you hear this player is linked to this club, PSG, you know it's BS. Is because these clubs put out PR saying they're interested in Arsenal players every single week. But we know Saliba's not going to PSG right now. We know Martinelli's not going to Barcelona right now. We know Saka's not leaving to City right now. All these players are fully invested in the club, and it's because of the fact that Mikel Arteta got this team competitive and competing for the league and back where we should be in the Champions League and everything else. So as much as we want to say,
but we haven't got it over the line. When it comes to Europe, we are nobodies. Since winning the Winners' Cup, we are nobodies. Let's keep it real.
No, but give us credit.
We're going to say that in the Premier League, a lot of players that are playing outside the big six come to Arsenal for a chance to win the league.
Are we talking about the Champions League right now?
We are a stepping stone in terms of Europe. If you want to win in Europe, we have no history of winning in Europe. So in that aspect,
can make that
until we win in Europe, Igal, and until we actually start, we either win and start winning in Europe. If a player has the ambitions to win the Champions League, Arsenal's never had the history of doing that. Even of the last Champions League we went to, was it 2006, where we lost? We've never won it. So when you're talking about heritage, when I'm talking about certain competitions, you've got to be winners of those competitions. I wouldn't put Tottenham Premier League, even though they've pushed a lot of times in recent years, I wouldn't put them as heritage of a team that's going to win the league, because they've never done it. They've never won the Premier League.
No,
so it's the same. It's the same aspect for Arsenal in Europe. We've never done it. So if you're looking at a team that's going to Real Madrid basically guarantees you a Champions League within your time there. If you're there for about 3-4 years, you're practically guaranteed to win at least one. Arsenal, you're not, because we've never done it, even with our best squad that we've seen in our lifetime.
But once again,
but you know what? I mean,
what's good, Deji? Big up to you, man.
Yeah, big up Northside. Oh, damn, I can't believe what I'm about to say. Clip me, you know what I mean? Look, I hear what Northside is saying, and I guess some of the things that I take issue with is if you ain't got the pedigree, you ain't got this. It's like saying to someone, we can't give you this job because you ain't got experience. At some point in your life, you're going to need to get experience in order to move on in life. If not, if we all live life this way, we wouldn't move on. But I will say this, though. That was Europe of yesteryear, Northside. I've been speaking to a few Arsenal fans, Man City fans, who've all been shaking their bum, and I can see it. Europe right now is dusty, bro. It's dusty like Tutankhamun's coffin. Right now, for me, there are only 3 teams that can win the Champions League. Man City, Real Madrid, or Arsenal. If Arsenal don't get to a semi-final this year, then your club is fully as dusty as the sand in Cairo. And I tell you why. Because Europe ain't like that no more. Barcelona ain't the same. Bayern Munich ain't the same. Dortmund ain't the same. Juventus ain't the same. Inter Milan. And the Premier League now has even increased the gap on these European teams that we don't even respect them. Do you get what I'm saying? So I kind of, I only came in halfway through a gal's thing, but I think if you're asking me, those are the top 3 for this year. You can.
Let me ask you this, Deji. Let me ask you this, Deji.
Yeah.
If you were to play Bayern Munich right now, do you think Tottenham would beat them?
Yeah, we'll slap them up real quick.
That's what I'm saying, bro. When I'm telling people some of these teams in Europe, I don't think they're as good as Arsenal. People say to me, "Oh no, Champions League heritage." I don't care. Bring me Bayern Munich. Anybody besides Real Madrid, City, and even I fully respect Inter, because Inter have one of the best defenses in the world. So Inter, those 3 teams, besides those 3 teams, anybody else, I think is a winnable game. Atletico Madrid, it'll be shithousery, but we should be able to beat them. Bayern Munich, we should be able to beat them. You bring Barcelona to me today, I'm treating Barcelona like I treated Manchester United. I'm talking about 3-1s at our house and going to their house and expecting to win.
But they still listen. Real Madrid they've still been winning their games in the Champions League. They've been consistent, and they'll turn it up whenever they need to. That's the thing with Real Madrid. Man City, we know we're not at the level of Man City, otherwise we would be favourites to win the league. They're the main team that is pipping us for not being favourites to win the league. So those 2 teams are out of the equation. When you're talking about Simeone, bro, if he sits back and be compact, if they don't give us any space, I'm asking questions, because this team still have a lot to prove in terms of against low blocks. I'm still not completely convinced. Even when I reference to the Nottingham Forest game, like I said, we hit them on the counter when they had space in behind. The West Ham game, they weren't playing for the shirt. We scored a couple of goals from set pieces. They weren't, bro. Am I lying? Were they playing? Were they playing serious?
Can I tell you something, Northside? When you win 2-0, you can say you got lucky. When you win 3-0, you can say they weren't playing well. When they win 4-0, maybe. But when you win 6-0, you have to say Arsenal were fantastic. And
they were fantastic, but Arsenal haven't consistently shown me that they can consistently break down low blocks. They haven't. You're talking to me about one game. So as much as I'm not saying that we weren't excellent on the day, let's not go on that we consistently break down low blocks. We went into January asking for a striker just because of that reason. We lost to West Ham before that game with 30 shots. 30 shots we had at that game, and we lost 2-0. So this is why I'm saying I'm still skeptical based on what I see. You know what I'm saying? Based on what I see. Repeat that, to the end of the season, because when you get to the crunch end of the season, teams are going to try and nullify us. They're going to try and get points, survive staying in the league, or try to get a European spot, and then we'll see. But just to stick on the point of Mbappe, I just don't see him coming to Arsenal, because I know Real Madrid, one way or the other, will manage to get the money together to get him over to Real Madrid. And their president has the history of doing that. You know what I mean? We've only assembled the Invincible, the Galacticos and everything else like that. Eventually they are. But I want to see my club going in serious and trying to turn his head. Try to turn his head. I don't want to see another target, you know what I mean, going. Listen, at the end of the day, do what you need to. Certain players, there are certain players out there that you do whatever you can, everything possible to get them over the line. Because he brings something to this team that we don't have. And for me, Mbappe can be the difference. I don't look, like I said, I wanted Ivan Toney. Mbappe's levels above Ivan Toney at this current moment in time. So for me, I need a striker, and I need someone that's actually got that stature of knowing how to deal with pressure. A lot of Arsenal fans have been saying this year, it's better to chase than to be chased. I don't like that mentality, because that mentality tells me that they can't deal with pressure. The people that believe in that kind of mentality. And I feel like this, you can escape pressure now, but come May, and you've got 5-6 games to go to win the league, that is pressure. Every game's a final. You cannot escape the pressure if you're trying to win a major honor. Eventually, it comes down to the wire, and every game you are now expected to win to get over the line. So you can only escape that pressure for so long. If these players can't handle pressure, we need to be bringing in characters that are used to this kind of pressure, and he's one of them. But I don't see it happening.
I think you're right, but the thing is, players like Mbappe are what we call Galacticos. The Zinedine, Zinedine Zidanes. They're just names. So he couldn't come to Arsenal unless you brought in 4 or 5 world-class players. A couple of brothers. If you brought in like a Camavinga now, you brought in a couple of them Real Madrid brothers, then we're looking at the Arsenal team looking, this is looking kind of scary. But you can't have Mbappe in the same team as Kai Havertz and in the same team as Zinchenko. It just don't make, and Ben White, it just don't make no sense.
Bro, have you seen the PSG team?
If you upgraded on them players to some real world-class players, then obviously it makes logical sense, and he would do bits. But Arsenal, you would be wasting your time putting in the bid, because he'd be looking at you going, why would he go there? What are you offering him?
Have you seen the PSG team, bro? The PSG team is not that good.
The PSG team is dusty, but
it's a bunch of his friends from high school.
He's looking for people. He's looking for equals on the pitch. He wants to look to his right and left and say that you're on my level or close to. Not, I'm going to have to be dragging Martinelli out of the shower. I've got to be picking Jesus up on my way into work. He don't want to be doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Northside, I don't want to take over the show, but I need to ask Deji about his boy Harry Kane, because he's looking like a loser, bro.
No, go on. Deji.
What's up with that guy?
The streets are asking.
Because right now, it looks like the only trophy he might pick up this year is the one that looks like the Arsenal's cannon, which is the German Golden Boot.
Do you know what? Igal, the only thing I would say, and I know where your question's coming from, but your question can't land the way you want it to land. Because really, Kane's gone to Bayern Munich. Has he done what they bought him to do? The answer is yes.
Yesterday, he was playing the DM.
He's gone over there and he's been banging in goals. I think he's already hit 20 goals in all competitions for Bayern Munich.
He has. Yeah, you might be right.
So he's doing his bit. The problem with Bayern Munich is that they have a dusty manager in Tuchel. Now, there was no reason to get rid of Nagelsmann in the first place. We understand that there was some stuff going on off the pitch that got them in trouble, and then he lost his job, and they brought in Madman Tuchel. But Madman Tuchel is not a good manager, bro. So you can have Kane, you can have Mbappe, you can have Neymar in that squad. They would be still playing this dusty football.
Let me rebuttal.
That he's doing bits, and he might go to Bayern Munich and not win anything, but that's not his fault.
Let me rebuttal. So at Tottenham, he was not a clutch player for Tottenham. Harry Kane was not a clutch player for Tottenham because in the most clutch moments, Son stepped up.
Yeah.
Friggin' Lucas Moura stepped up. And when it came to big moments, he's never really stepped up. He's constantly been the guy who's actually hindered the team because of his decision making in the final third, or this new gimmick that he's doing where he's going into midfield, chipping around and making people lose the ball. Overall, my main point is, it's not a coincidence when Bayern Munich for 50 years have won a trophy every single year. And for the first time in 50 years, they're about to go trophyless, is when him and Eric Dyer show up at the Allianz Arena. Not a coincidence.
So first and foremost, like I said, he's doing his thing. Because if you look at his numbers, he's up there with Lewandowski in terms of his performance. So I would say even if Lewandowski was there, they would be dusty. But also, Bayern Munich, any team, you got to understand that Eric Dyer has been starting in their last few matches.
He's the middle of the back three.
Eric Dyer wouldn't start in this team, in Tottenham's current
He's their
team.
quarterback.
We prefer to play Emerson Royale in defense rather than Eric Dyer. So we're seeing the levels. That's why I can't rate European football. So, someone in the chat asked me, I think his name's Jim.
You can't rate European
would
football.
you win a match if Spurs against Bayern, or who's a better manager? Ange is better than Tuchel. Spurs will beat Bayern Munich. That one there, I don't rate any team in Europe apart from Real Madrid at the moment. But Igo, I hear what you're saying. It ain't Kane's fault, and it's not.
But do you not think he's not a big game player?
So let me answer that quickly. Against Man City, who was coming up with last-minute goals against Man City? Kane. Who was the bane in you lot's backside? North London derby. Who's gonna show up and bang? Kane. So
but you never beat us at our house.
Clutch moments, unless you're saying Man City and the North London derby aren't clutch matches.
But in knockout football, though, I hear what you're saying. Those are clutch moments within the season. But when it's knockout football, does he deliver, bro? Even for England, does he deliver?
No.
That's so harsh, man.
It's not. How's it harsh?
Bro, he's not a Spurs player anymore.
Kane, you don't get that far.
Deji.
Without him, you don't get that far, my
Deji,
bro.
you're my guy. You're honest. You're not. It's not a Spurs player anymore. You can rip into him. He's not your guy no more. You guys broke up. Tell us the truth, bro. You know what's under the curtains.
Okay,
come on. This is not better help, man. It's therapy, man. Come on, man.
He flopped in the semi-final of the European Championship because he was up against, or was it the World Cup? Because he was up against his teammate. Is that what we're going to crucify?
Bro, if Bayern don't win the league, Harry Kane will forever have a black mark on his career. He'll be the first.
That is paper talk. But for me,
he will be the first Bayern Munich talisman.
If Kane was doing a Jesus and not hitting double figures, then I'd be like, you know what?
No, but if they're winning,
this guy is doing double. He's getting. Double,
he is doing double figures. He's scoring well out there. I think
he's banging in goals.
He has 24 goals already.
In the Bundesliga, he's got 24 goals, 5 assists, and 21 appearances. Very good. Champions League, he's got 7 appearances, 4 goals, and 3 assists.
That's respectable.
Look, yeah, it is. But also, when you go for big money, which he did go for big money, yeah, he should have cost a lot more, but he went for big money, and you're supposed to be the talisman. There's got to be more from him. The same energy I give Osimhen. The same.
But if his team is not winning, and look, you've just read out the numbers. You know me, I don't even do stats. I just like to do my eyes. But based on the numbers you've just given me, he's doing all right, bro. Surely
he's doing all right. He's
doing what he's been paid to do.
But is he going to turn up in the clutch moments though? Because we're talking about when it's knockout football. We're talking about when it decides whether you win the league or not, or you're kicked out the cup. Those are the times that he goes missing for country and club.
But I will say this though. If the manager is dusty and he's putting out a dusty lineup, what can he do? Remember, we're playing elite football.
Yeah, but
That
Arteta's
dusty manager won the league last year.
Arteta's dusty, and Aubameyang still scored to win us at FA Cup.
1 second. That dusty manager won the league last year. That dusty manager won the league last year with Choupo-Moting, bro.
Yeah, but he didn't have Leverkusen breathing on his neck with Xabi
Bro,
Alonso.
he beat Dortmund on the final day.
Yeah.
What he did last year was actually impressive. If they lose this year, yes, Tuchel's part to blame, and I don't rate Tuchel either, but Harry Kane has a big part to play.
I'm just saying it's not Kane's fault. If Kane had gone to Bayern Munich and only scored like 12 goals in the season, I would fully accept that. I would be like, you know what? Kane is the reason why, because minimum he should be banging in 20, 25 goals. You know, Kane's already doing what he's needed to do. So it can't be his fault. It's the rest of the team's fault.
One thing about you, you're consistent. You're consistent.
I am, because for me, if you lot don't win the league, let me do this. And I think, Igal, what I want to hear from you and from Northside is actually a little bit of praise for me, actually, because a lot of Arsenal fans think I'm out here trolling Arsenal when actually I've actually been trying to help. At the beginning, let me remind you why I've been trying to help. At the beginning of the season, let me remind Igal, me and you spoke last season, and I said to you, Arsenal ain't doing jack without a striker, and you referred me to Man City winning the league without a striker. And I said, yeah, but you guys ain't Man City. I said that.
Yeah.
Fast forward 6-7 months, we are here, both Arsenal and neutral fans, talking about the fact that Arsenal need a striker. Yeah? And guess what? January transfer windows come and gone, and you didn't buy a striker. Now, if you don't win the league, we know why you didn't win the league, because we know what you needed and you didn't go out and get it. Okay. That's why I said I've been trying to help you guys. Do you get me?
And Deji, I need your help. I need your help. I need you to speak to Northside and give some sense to Northside on this topic. If we don't win the league and next year we go sign the striker, we could potentially go push on to go win the league the next year, no?
No, but this is the problem I have, Igal, yeah? And this is why I'm not getting carried away with our win against West Ham. We're once again allowing our club to not attend to what we need to go out there and get to strengthen this team. Last season, what is the difference from last season? We're now hitting form, people are saying, yeah? We hit form last season. Roughly the same squad, yeah? Okay, Timber's out. We can't. It's roughly the same squad. We don't have a striker. We have a bench that's not very effective. Let's keep it real. A lot of people wanted to sell that bench to go and fund for a striker. So that shows you how highly they rate this bench. And this is why I don't see what the difference is. Because for me, we looked at, people are talking about our defensive record, yeah? We went to the last end of the season, the last 2 months, yeah? In our games, let me get the stats out here. In May, we lost 2 games, conceded 4 goals. Then in April, we drew 3 out of our 5 games, conceding 7 goals in 3 games. Now, people are going to say, oh yeah, but we got Declan Rice. Cool. Partey's been injury prone. Yeah, since he's been at Arsenal anyway, he's become injury prone. So now, with Partey being injury prone, if Rice goes down, you're back to El Nene. Nobody's confident with El Nene, with a couple of games to go to win the league. Yeah. Then we're talking about the goals that we score. Yeah.
What about Jorginho?
But I've never seen Jorginho perform week in, week out consistently.
Bro, I've seen Ballon d'Or second in Ballon d'Or, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
The Arsenal Football Club, let's be real. Before the game that he was in the midfield, people weren't really calling for Jorginho to start.
I've been always rating him. I've been saying give him a new contract.
Again, when we make our best midfield, Jorginho's not in it.
Guess what? He doesn't have to be.
That's all I've got to say. These are players that we can't rely on.
Rotation. These are players that we can't. But
these are players we can't rely on. Last season, we were playing.
We can't rely on Jorginho.
For how many games? This is the same difference.
For certain games.
Remember that? Do you remember when we went? Do you remember we were trying to get top 4? Do you know why I tell you we can't rely on him? Yeah. Going off of one performance for me, yeah, is very inaccurate. Do you remember when we had 2 seasons ago to get top 4 over Tottenham, and we said, "Oh, Nketiah, he scored against Chelsea, he can do it." Yeah, what happened? His inconsistency caught up with him again, and then we bottled it, getting top 4, and we were actually the favourites to get top 4 over Tottenham that season. So this season, we're still relying on Jorginho that hasn't been consistent in an Arsenal shirt, Nketiah that hasn't been consistent in an Arsenal shirt, Trossard that last season played as a striker and wasn't good enough to get us through the line because that's not his natural position. Yeah. These a bench that ultimately we don't really rate because we were more than happy to get rid of them to fund Osimhen, Ivan Toney, whoever the striker is that you prefer. So this is what I'm saying. What is the difference? Even when we convert back to the
No
system that we had
difference.
last
Let
season,
me respond.
even against Nottingham Forest, 3 games to go to win the league, we lost 1-0. Why? I know the whole team didn't turn up, but once again, that was 1-0 that we lost. Why don't we go get a striker to rectify that? We're not rectifying our strengths.
One second.
Win.
Can I just say one thing?
No,
Can I just say one thing before we move on? I just
Yeah.
want to tell people that for a portion of the season, Odegaard's been injured, Emil Smith-Rowe's been injured, Fabio Vieira's been injured, Thomas Partey's been injured, El Neni's been injured, Jorginho's been injured. From our midfield this season, the only 2 people who've been fit the whole season have been the new signings, Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. And we have still managed to have a really good midfield for majority of the season. The attack has been where we've come short. And I agree with you guys. A striker in this team would be the most necessary signing to improve this team massively. And our defense, Northside, I don't hear you complaining too much about the defense because Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, Ben White have been fit for the majority of the season. And even if they're not fit, we have guys like Tomiyasu who can come in. We have Kavior who can come in, of course. And of course, we have guys like Timber.
And that's the problem, what you just said, that they can come in and do a job. We have been having players that can come in and do a job. And every time it's the crunch end, you're talking about right now, we're very good. We were good last season to 93% of the league. When you look at 93%, we're good enough to keep up and replicate that. But that other 7%, why is it that we went up short? And that is going to be the time whether this bench is good enough or not. And this is why I don't believe that they are. Because when it comes down to the crunch, you're talking to me about, I'm not talking about the defense. I told you that I wanted another centre-back. You said Timber got injured. First of all, we don't know if Timber's good enough. And second of all, when you're telling me about other players that can do a job, how good of a job can they do? Because you told me one of the options as a centre-back is Ben White. But Ben White has never been good enough as a centre-back for Arsenal.
1 second. Can I just explain to you? That Akanji before he joined City was not rated that highly. Nathan Ake was at Bournemouth, and certain people were laughing at the possibility of Arsenal even looking to sign him before he joined City. So it just goes to show you, when you have a good squad, no player can really look too bad in that team because you have such a good balanced squad. A good team, a good resolute system and team can negate the fact that you have certain positions where you rotate because the rest of the squad looks good. Even with Kai Havertz not looking so good to start the season, the rest of the team didn't look that bad because you can have a situation where the team knows what they're doing. You're not going to, one player playing poorly in a position will not throw off the whole team's balance.
I'm gonna let Deji reply.
There's a couple of things. I hope I don't lose my trail of thought. First and foremost, shame on all the Arsenal fans who've been shaking their bum violently for Jorginho. The biggest culprit is a guy called Gunnar King, who is absolutely shameless. He sits in the closet with the lights off in the dark, and then he wants to come out because of one.
No, Gunnar King's not here. Don't do that to him.
No, I will do it.
Send for him.
I will do it. And you can tell him that I called him out. But Gunnar King is an absolute disgrace. Jorginho, and if you don't win, it's because of people like Gunnar King and all his other cronies that follow him. But also, Northside, I think
what the hell?
Your name, legendary. I was debating some Arsenal fans who I realized ain't got a clue. When I'm telling them that they're shaking their bum for nothing, Arsenal squad I even went as far as to say last season, even though you decided to go to Dixie Fried Chicken, then Nando's, at least you bought people. You bought Kivior in that window, and you bought a couple of others. I can't even remember their names. This year, you've bought nobody. That means this year's January transfer window is worse than last year. Yeah? Because you bought in Jorginho in Jan as well last year. Remember that?
He bought Trossard.
So now I've been saying this. Fortunately for Arsenal this season, you've had your centre-backs. If not for them being in place, do you think you guys would have survived 3 or 4 games with Zinchenko and Ben White at centre-back, Igal? That's an actual question. Do you think you would survive? Would you be in the top 4 with Zinchenko and Kivior, or Kivior and Ben White as your centre-back pairing?
Okay, first of all, if Gabriel and Saliba were both injured, we would be playing at centre-back a combination of these 3, either Tomiyasu and Ben White, or you would have a situation where you play Cavior and Ben White. That would be our centre-back pairing if both Saliba and Gabriel were injured. And you want to know something? How long are we talking? Because you can get away with it for certain games. You can get away with it for long enough. But would we still be in a title race with our two best defenders out? I don't think majority of teams in the league would be in that situation. We've seen Liverpool lose one Van Dijk and be done for the season. So, Deji, I would be lying to you if I said to you we'd be okay if both of them got injured.
That's the truth. Because I had an Arsenal fan trying to contextualize things and say why Arsenal.
We control the games better defensively, even without those.
You made. Sorry, Deji, just very quickly. Arsenal fans said last season that the bench is. There was multiple reasons. One of the reasons, the bench was the reason why we didn't win the league. I like bench. The bench has still not been attended to. Why is it different this season? Then you're saying to me, oh, a lot of Arsenal fans said also because we had an injury to one of our centre backs. Then why didn't we use Tommy? Why didn't we use one of the options?
Tomiyasu was injured.
Tomiyasu was injured. Kivior fit in, and he got put on the bench over Rob Holding because he wasn't good enough. And
Arteta made a mistake there, and he will forever regret that.
But this is the problem. What have we done to rectify that? Tomiyasu.
What have we done?
We've seen the best out of Tomiyasu.
Let me remind you.
Tomiyasu through the wings. We've not seen the best out of him as a centre back. So that is another thing that he's playing with fire.
Northside, before you move on. Let me say one word.
Yeah, go on.
Arteta has more trust in the squad. That's all I have to say. You said, what did he do to rectify that? This season, he's showing more trust in the squad. That's all. Because last season, he didn't trust Cavior. Even though he just signed him, he wanted to give him time to get into it. He didn't want to throw him to the wolves. But this season, he trusts him.
Even with your option about Timber, this is the problem that I have with versatility, yeah? And this is the problem with versatility.
Timber's solid.
Yeah? Timber, no, I'm not saying that. My point is that Timber, people are telling me, when I said, why is he reverted back to Zinchenko? Oh, Timber's injured. Okay, cool. What if one of our centre-backs get injured? Oh, but Timber's injured. So what? He's coming to play centre-back or left-back. This is why I don't like versatility.
He's coming
because he can only play one position. And how can you have one player to cover both positions when we're light for rotations as a left-back and as a centre-back? This is the problem. Because now he's out. It is a problem. I'll tell you why it's a problem. I didn't like Zinchenko as a left back because defensively he ain't all that. Yeah, he was supposed to be there as an option for your left back. Now we're resorting back to Zinchenko. Then you're looking at the centre backs. Tomiyasu hasn't proved himself as a centre back. Neither has Ben White. Kivior for me isn't good enough, and time will tell why I think that he ain't good enough. But you can put him there. If he doesn't deliver, we have been short in two positions because you've only covered for one. The player can only play one position at a time. So we've left ourselves short in that aspect. You should have got a centre-back and a left-back, not a left-back or a centre-back that can play both positions. Because once he's out, look at what's going on now. And listen, we got to pray that we don't get no more defensive injuries, but we're forced now to be playing Zinchenko in that left-back. Out of our whole back line, Zinchenko is the missing link. How did we concede against Aston Villa? Through Zinchenko's side.
Exactly.
A lot of goals that we concede is through his side, bro.
But also, what I love about this show, sorry to be making your head bigger.
I'm going to shush now for a bit.
Northside is that at least I call this the reality show because there's a lot of Arsenal fans shaking their bum violently, wearing luminous, turquoise thongs on the streets of Wood Green and Finsbury Park. That actually is borderline scary, and I'll tell you why. To my mind, you've only had 3 players out this season. Timber, who is an unknown, like you said, Northside. People keep shaking their bum for Timber. We don't know what Timber can do in the Prem. All we can go off was the cameo he gave us pre-season in the Heat. That's it. So we're not.
He played against City, bro.
He's an unknown. He played against City in the Community Shield. Let's be clear. Then the other player is Partey. Now, Partey, in terms of his injuries performance, is pretty much like what he's been producing since he's arrived. He's hardly ever here.
No, last year he played 33 games.
Okay, but it feels like on the naked eye that he's hardly about.
I agree.
Yeah, and then
so Jesus as well. He's starting to look injury prone as well. Just saying.
Yeah, and then you got Jesus.
Hey, make him a rotation piece next season.
Jesus is hardly. He's hardly a gunman, isn't he? He's not going to give you 20+ goals. So when you mentioned El Nene, I almost fell off my chair and choked on the fishbone I had just before I came on the show because El Nene should be coming out your lips, and all the other players.
And then he's a mascot.
Does that
Like
make
Hugo
sense?
Lloris on your bench.
No,
You're
but
never gonna
the
play.
thing I will say this, Igal and Arsenal fans, because you're gonna hear it from me. If you guys lose Saliba or Gabriel or any of your wingers, your so-called we're in the hunt is over, because you guys have not had to deal with any real madness. Is basically the point I'm trying to make. And we know a madness is around the corner. Just like you guys rightly told me that Dej, wait for Maddison to get injured, wait for the man them to get injured, and I didn't want to hear it, and it came. Then I'm now telling you, just wait, man, them for Saliba to get injured or Gabriel, because once one of them two brothers go, it's a wrap. So,
First of all,
I respect where you guys are, but if I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't be shaking my bum violently. In fact, I wouldn't shake my bum at all. I would walk in a straight line.
But can I tell you something? Just so you know, I'm gonna list them. So from our attack alone, Trossard's missed time this season through injury. Jesus has missed time through injury. Because Saka missed the Man City game. Martinelli missed some game time, right? That's 4 players. I'm not going to include Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah in the conversation because you guys probably don't rate them. Okay? The guy who scored a hat-trick this season in Eddie Nketiah, and the guy who had the most goal contributions off the bench last season for Arsenal in Reece Nelson. Next, Fabio Vieira has missed majority of the season, and he had a good start to the season. ESR has missed majority of the season. You had Odegaard that was also injured for a portion of the season. Thomas Partey has been out for majority of the season. Jorginho has been relatively fit for the entire season. I'm not going to include El Neni in this conversation, okay? Next, when it comes to Timber, so that's now 9 players who've been injured at certain points of the season. Tomiyasu has also been injured. Let's be honest, the rest of them, I'm not going to include in like the academy players and Cedric, but we've also had a situation where
were you going to include academy players?
No, I'm not including none of them. So then Zinchenko. So I'm just trying to show you that I'm being fair. I'm not including all the other. I'm not including all the other players. So from the first team, players who actually contribute on a match day consistently, we've had 11 players miss game time. Now it's not significant game time like Thomas Partey and Timber, but it is game time in itself. So we have had to manage with injuries. At a certain point, we had no left back that was fit in the club. We had no fit left back in the club at a certain point.
Can I answer your question quickly?
We have managed injuries.
Do you think Tottenham is doing well, and do you think Tottenham's in the title race?
I think Tottenham are not in the title race, but I think Tottenham have done extremely well this season. And gotten themselves quickly back into the hunt for top 4 and back up the top of the table in the Premier League. We're back in the mix for top 4, where this season was supposed to be a transition, and you guys have quickly transitioned it back into the team that you were a couple of years ago, where you're playing good football. And I credit your manager, but I just don't do this whole thing where you guys are in the title race, because I know you lack the defensive solidity and the control in games to see out the results from now to the end of the season without too many issues.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, North. I just needed to ask that question.
The difference between Arsenal and City, the difference between Arsenal and City is City have an amazing attack. The difference between Tottenham and Arsenal is you guys have no control over the games. Any team has a chance at you guys for 90 minutes, where we kind of resort teams to minimal opportunities to even hurt us.
Igal, would you say that we've got a much higher chance of winning the league this season compared to last season?
100%. Last season was our bigger chance because it was a 2-horse race, and we fumbled it at the end. This season, the reason why I have faith is because I think the team is playing better defensively, and we are starting to we are not gassing out. Last year we would get tired. We would score 3 goals and then we get tired. Now we score the goals, but we're not tired. We're continuously going throughout the game. So I feel like the team is starting to get a lot more. I think the players have gotten better. The team's gotten better. Players like Gabriel Magalhaes have improved massively. I don't think he gets spoken about enough. he's made a massive improvement. Saka has made a massive improvement. Odegaard, who you might not think is doing as good as last season, has been able to play more of a deeper role and less of just a gung-ho attacker like he was last season. So I think the players have improved. I think as tactically we've improved, and Declan Rice and Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba, that core, them three have been our best players this season and have controlled the games.
Can I just pick up on a comment that the Unknown says? He says Spurs have had half their team out and still only 5 points behind Arsenal. How does that make you feel, Miguel? And it's not banter. I'm just hearing. I'm just calling it out for what it is. I'm grateful that there are Arsenal fans who kind of see the point I'm trying to make, because I get shut down that Spurs don't have a title challenge yet. If Arsenal was second to Man City and 7 points behind Man City, would they be in a title? Would they be in the title?
But the thing is, you're assuming that yes, you're 5 points behind us at this moment in time, but you're assuming that the league isn't close. Everybody's close to each other. You're also 5 points off City, but no one would ever make that comparison. You get what I'm saying? So it is kind of like you're using that point to try to criticize Arsenal, but in the same sense, would you use that same point to criticize City? You wouldn't.
Yeah, but no, I'm not. I mean, it's the same. I would use the same point to criticize Arsenal or City. I guess the reason why we don't say City is because they have a game in hand and we assume they're going to win that game in hand. But the thing that astonishes me is that if Arsenal was second to Man City or 7 points behind Man City, Arsenal would be in a title challenge.
No,
Tottenham is actually, you wouldn't be in a title challenge.
No,
7 points behind City at this stage.
No, because if we would have lost to Liverpool, I said it verbatim. Northside, you probably said the same thing on my channel also. If we lost to Liverpool, we were out.
Right,
we were done. So
and that's what, yeah, this is the thing, yeah. Compared to last season, yeah, it wasn't this early where we better win this game or we're out. And that's why I was asking Igal, are you more convinced this season that we're going to win the league in comparison to last season? Do you think
we were 4 points better off last season at this point?
So you do believe that the chances of us winning the league is higher this season?
No, the chances of us winning the league is obviously higher this season because the season's not done and we didn't lose. but when it comes to last season, we were in a better situation, if that's what you're asking.
Was in a better situation. For where we came up short, have you seen improvements for where we came up short?
Yes.
Where have you seen improvements?
Our control, our ability to see games out and not have too many moments and lapses in concentration. Because I know you've watched last season as well as I did. We looked amazing the first 20 minutes every game. But come 54-minute mark, it was like, we're just holding on. It's like, please, can we just win this game? Let's just get through to 90 minutes. And you know that feeling, Deji, probably also, where you're winning and you're just like, let's just see the game out. Let's just see the game out. I'm not confident we're going to not concede, but let's just try to win this game. It's getting dangerous now. And then you concede one goal and you're shaking it for the rest of the game. Where now we don't shake. We win a game because we slowly progress. And by the 70th minute mark, the other team's dead on the floor. And we're just like, 1 goal, 2 goals.
I disagree. I disagree. That West Ham performance was not the controlled football that we've been complaining about.
No, I'm more talking about the Crystal Palace game, for example.
This season, a lot of people have been saying we're not looking as convincing with this new controlled system. And that people have been calling out for a striker because they're not being convinced with this controlled way of football.
Bro, it doesn't matter. They were always told for a striker.
Against West Ham, where everybody's praising, look how great we did. We reverted back to the football we played last season in comparison to the football that we were playing for the majority of this season. So I don't actually think people are actually that happy with the new football controlled system, because people are saying we don't look as convincing. People are saying we're not putting our chances away. We're having too many shots and not burying teams, holding on against Nottingham Forest. This, regardless of where you stand on the manager, this is what Arsenal fans were saying. And this is why I don't feel this controlled football. People were not saying, oh, do you know what? Let's continue this to the end of the season. A lot of Arsenal fans was actually saying, this ain't looking convincing. We're holding on. Remember the Luton game? We almost drew that game when we should be smashing them. Obviously, Declan Rice got us out of it. That was playing this controlled football where we're going to take our time instead of burying them and putting them to the sword. People are more praising the West Ham performance that is more identical to last season's football than this new controlled football. I don't
Did we ever beat somebody 6-0 away from home, bro?
Yeah, but that West Ham performance,
in the system of this season, it was reverting back to playing the system of last season, where we get the ball. It wasn't controlled. We put them to the sword by half time.
Yeah,
that's not how we're playing.
Also, West Ham.
But the three of the goals were set pieces.
West
Yeah,
Ham were royally
three of the
dusted.
goals were set pieces, but we
They were crap.
even after we made substitutions, we were still going at them.
Yeah.
We weren't shutting up shop and saying, "Oh, we'll just take our time." Odegaard was still that was more reminiscent of last season, bro. This season's football has not been convincing, and a lot of people. This is why they were saying we need a striker. Where last season they said, "Oh no, we'll just get Trossard and Kivior and we're happy because we're dominating and we're ripping up teams." This whole new system this season, I don't believe, regardless of where you stand on the manager, that people are as convinced that you're saying that they are, and this is why I feel like we'll come up short, because even when we played the football we played last season, yes, we ripped up teams, but we came up short. Where did we come up short? Leaking too many goals when we had injuries, which we haven't rectified. Not getting a striker to bury the chances, which 2 goals against Nottingham Forest we would have won. So we ain't addressed all of that. We ain't addressed that. And you're talking about certain injuries to certain players. We got better covers in our attacking players than we have in our defensive players. Because when you're talking to me about the defensive cover, they're not as proven as somebody like Trossard stepping in for a Martinelli. Is that not true?
Yeah, let me show you something, Northside.
And then I have to bounce real quick. But love you.
Big up, Deji,
no
man.
worries, Deji, man. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Listen, before we put this up, make sure you're liking and subscribing to Deji's channel. Make sure you're supporting the mandem. You know what I mean? You already know what time it is. Deji and Igal's channel are both in the description down below. Make sure you're smashing the like up and you're subscribing. Let's share what you've got there. Hold on. All right, let me move that. Boom.
Okay, so this is last year's stats after 24 games. We had 57 points. We had 23 goals. 52 goals and 23 goals against. Okay, so it looks good, right? Really good. 57 points. But what people don't realize is at this point of the season, with the players that we have this year, we have 1 more goal and one less goal conceded. Yes, we have, what is that? 5 less points. Yeah, that's not good. 5 less points is obviously not good. But when it comes to the actual goals scored and the goals against, it's relatively there and thereabouts. So when I show this, I'm just trying to show people that it's like, as much as last season made us feel much better, we're still currently statistically there and thereabouts, Northside. And what that means
is what counts, though, Igal. Regardless, because your stats that you're referencing were only a goal or a less goal conceived better. Yeah, but that's like, who cares? We're still 5 points worse, and that is the most important thing. Ultimately, it's about points. It's about what wins you points. And if we're 5 points off worse, how is that more convincing?
No. But if we look back at the beginning of the season, people weren't caring about the fact that we're winning. They were just talking about the performances. Now that we're 24 games in, I'm showing you that the performances might not be the same, but the underlying numbers are similar.
They're similar, but also you're referencing to a season that we didn't get over the line.
No,
we're 5 points worse, and we're only single digits better. That ain't that convincing for me to win the league, because the expectation is to win the league.
Northside, we got less points, but we're taking more points off our rivals. Last season, we didn't take points off City. Last season, we didn't beat Liverpool. We got 4 points off Liverpool last season, so we got 4 points off them again this time. But this time, we beat them convincingly at our ground. We're beating Manchester United.
We're 5 points better with an 8-point cushion. I'd rather be in that position. It's true. Would you rather be third, 5 points worse, or would you be 5 points better with an 8-point cushion and top of the league?
Of course, you'd be where we were last year.
How does that show me that we're better this season?
Okay, this is what we're better at. Can we agree on one thing? We're better defensively as a team.
We are better defensively as a team, yes. But that alone does not warrant that we're going to definitely win the league. And that is my point. That's why I asked you the question.
Why did we lose the league last year in your opinion?
This season? Yes, you can refer to defense, but there was games that we weren't scoring enough goals to win those games. In the last month, we drew 3 games. And we conceded a bunch of goals. And even against Nottingham Forest, a game that they only scored 1, we have not attended to that. So because let's be real, this whole system, I don't know if you see it like this, but this is how I see it. Arsenal will score goals all around when the system works. Once you nullify the system, nobody's just going to score a goal out of nothing.
What about set pieces?
And you think we can win the league with set pieces?
No, I'm saying the ability for us to score goals from set pieces at the level that we're doing is not something that, people say, it's unsustainable. It's not about unsustainability. It's we have figured out a tactical strength. We have a tall squad. We have a guy in Declan Rice who has a really good delivery. We no longer have to worry about we don't no longer have to worry about Odegaard or Trossard or Martinelli trying to whip it in from the left side and not get it to the guy. Luckily, we have Saka on the right, and when we're on the other side, you have Declan Rice whipping it in, and we've gotten how many goals from these set pieces?
Yeah, but you're saying it as if Declan Rice is whipping it into Mitrovic every week, bro. We're not going to score. I think Gabriel's got what, 4 goals?
4 goals is ridiculous for a centre back.
I know, but to the end of the season, bro. In a 38 game league, bro, he's not going to score enough for us to win the league. Let's be real, bro. You're going on like he's
Northside. Why does everything have to be extremes? I'm not saying
it's true though. You're saying I said that we lack the goals. You're saying, but we're scoring from set pieces.
No, I'm saying we have goals in bunches.
That means that we have to consistently score goals in set pieces. Who's going to score us headers week in, week out then to fulfill and facilitate the fact that we don't have a striker to offer us?
By the way, we don't have a striker, but we're currently on pace to have the most goals ever scored in the Premier League history for Arsenal if we keep this up from now until the end of the season. And second of all, I'm not saying we're going to only score from set pieces, Northside. I'm saying there is so many different ways this team can get goals. It's not dependent on one individual player. One individual player is great, but guess what? An individual player can only do one thing, where when you have a collective team working towards a goal, you are better off and a better chance of winning consistently. And that's what we have. We have a team that can all step up. You have guys like Trossard who can step up for a goal here and there. You have a guy like Saka who consistently shows up on both ends, goals and assists. You have Martin Odegaard. As much as people want to criticize him, this season has 4 goals, 5 assists in the league so far, and he should have more if it wasn't for Trossard, Jesus, and Eddie Nketiah's poor finishing this season. Then you go down the list. You can look as far down the list as you want. I think we have like 10 to 15 goal scorers in the Premier League this season that are on double-digit goals. It just goes to show you how many goal scorers we have in this team. And for us to be in and thereabouts with City and Liverpool at this point of the season with their goals. City only have 3 more goals than us. They have Erling Haaland, for God's sakes. Mo Salah's on Liverpool, and they're literally only 2 goals more than us.
Yeah, but how long do they have to point it out?
Northside, I know we don't have a striker, but we can't keep talking about what we don't have. What we do have...
Of course we can.
No.
When we left January last season, and we were top of the league, everyone just said, just be happy. All these filhos da puta, viados da merda were telling me, just be happy. Don't mention that we don't have this, we don't have that. Filhos da puta, what did we win at the end of the season? This ignoring what we don't have is why I can't get excited, because I would be very different.
But are you even enjoying
it? I want them to move.
Are you even enjoying the journey?
We spread around goals, Name me a team, that they haven't got one player hitting 20, 30 goals,
Man City.
And then win the league.
Man City, cool. Who else? They did it twice, Man City, where they had nobody score 20 goals and win the league.
Bro, they had a main striker. They had Aguero before they went and got Haaland, bro. They had
no. I'm talking about City between Aguero and the Haaland situation. They had multiple seasons.
City are the only anomaly is what I'm saying. Who else are City? Do you think Liverpool would be able to...
If I'm not mistaken,
Liverpool, they had Salah banging in goals.
If I'm not mistaken, Chelsea won the league without a main striker. They had Diego Costa get injured halfway through the season.
Bro, everyone's had a focal point, bro, to win the league. It's an anomaly. I remember even when they didn't have a
Eden Hazard's the focal point. What's the difference between Eden Hazard being the focal point and Kevin De Bruyne being the focal point? It's not a striker. That's my point.
No, but Man City are an anomaly. And this is my point. We've got Saka, We've got Saka, because we need to move on to, is Saka world class? We've got Saka, Last season, Saka got 14 goals, 11 assists. The season before that, he got 11 goals, 7 assists, So it's only been one season where he's had double digits in goals and assists. Only one. And this is why I don't consider him world class. He's en route to becoming world class, but he's not world class. You can't give me that just for one season. He's never won a major honor. He's not done it consistently at the highest level in winning and delivering. So I don't consider Saka world class. Do you consider Saka world class?
Bro, before we get to this conversation, can I show you what Rio said that triggered this whole conversation? Because this is the background to what caused all this uproar. Basically, Rio Ferdinand went on TV after Phil Foden scored a goal in the Champions League and dubbed Phil Foden world class, and then said Bukayo Saka is not world class. And he said because he didn't do it in the nitty and gritty in the Champions League and at the top level yet, and implied that Phil Foden has, but Bukayo Saka hasn't. This is what then caused me and a lot of Arsenal fans to get an uproar and get upset. Because how dare you say one man in Phil Foden is world class because he came off the bench a couple games when they won the treble, and in the other hand, you're saying Saka's not world class, even though he does it week in, week out, and you acknowledge that he's in a lesser team. Now, I'm not going to play the video or anything like that because obviously we don't want to get copyrights. But his exact words is Bukayo Saka needs to perform, needs the opportunity to perform on that platform. He did it for England at the Euros. He did it for England at the World Cup. He was one of their best players. At Arsenal, he's done it in the Premier League, gotten us from 8th to challenging for top 4 to now getting top 4 and being in the title race consistently. And statistically, he's up there with Mo Salah as the only other player in the Premier League to get 25 plus goals and 25 plus assists over the last 3 seasons. So if you're going to dub Phil Foden world class, you have to dub Bukayo Saka world class. And am I saying Bukayo Saka is world class right now? You know what? Depending on your definition of world class, maybe he's not. But for me, based on my definition, I can't find too many right wingers in the world right now that are better than Bukayo Saka. I think most people in this chat or on any channel will struggle to name 5 better right wingers than Bukayo Saka right now.
That doesn't make you world class, though. That doesn't make you world class.
That's how I judge world class.
You need to be consistent as an attacking player. You need to have consistency. You have to have consistency. You have to be putting up the numbers. You have to win trophies, and you have to be performing at the top level week in, week out. Without having all of that, for me, you're not considered world class. World class gets dashed around way too easily. He's not world class, bro. He's not world class.
Is Phil Foden world class?
He hasn't put double-digit numbers that we consider world class week in, week out.
Phil Foden world class?
I heard you say about Messi and Ronaldo. I'm not even saying about Messi and Ronaldo. I'm not even talking about Messi and Ronaldo because
where'd you see that?
Huh?
No, don't worry. No,
I saw it, bro. I watch. I know you said, because people watch Messi and Ronaldo, people think that unless you hit that, you're not world class. Well, then most players would not be considered world class. It's not because of that. He is not consistently putting up the numbers. He's not. He's had 1 season of double digits. Yeah. He's not won major honors. He's not been pivotal for his team to win major honors as well. Because it's not just about winning.
This comment.
I don't agree that Foden's world class. I don't
Thank
think
you.
He's world class.
Then it's cool.
I do believe that he's a better player than Bukayo Saka. Yeah,
listen, I don't care what you think in better. I'm just merely saying to compare one guy and say he's world class and then say the other guy isn't is ridiculous to me. You can say he's better because you're basically saying he's better based on his ability, right?
Ability, output, the way he performs in big games.
Output? What output?
Bro, does he start every game? It's only now that we're seeing him being consistent. Bukayo Saka went into this season hitting his 90th appearance. Foden doesn't get played like that. He doesn't. This is the first time he's stepping up, and he's actually stepping up when they've had major injuries. So if you're going to say about output, look at appearances as well, because he's not used the same way. So that's an unfair thing to use against him.
Okay, so because his best position is off the bench for City, we're now punishing Saka.
I'm not punishing Saka. I'm saying from what I see of the player and his ability, I see more ability. Bukayo Saka, for me,
that's okay.
I have not, but the thing is, I've not called.
I don't disagree there.
I've not called either one of them world class. But I believe that Foden is a better player. But Saka has had way more games. He's way more dependent on his team. He's called star boy. Foden is not. Foden, this is the first season where
can Foden carry Arsenal like Saka can?
Huh?
Could Foden carry Arsenal like Saka has been?
They're different type of players, though.
No, but I'm asking you because they
both
played on the right wing before. They both played on the wing. You've also had Saka play in the midfield against Liverpool in the past under Unai Emery. So let's be honest. We can see they can play in similar positions. It's just
When
their
they had
strengths
injuries,
are different.
when City had injuries, would Saka carry them the same way as Foden has been carrying them?
Bro, I'm telling you right now, if Saka was in that City team, you'd be seeing double the numbers.
Bro, neither one of them are world class, but I do put Foden above him. And when you're talking about, we've seen way more week in, week out of Saka than we have of Foden. So it's different. And Foden ain't their focal point. Saka is our focal point. We know that Arteta, when his back's against it, he will not substitute Saka off. This season, even though Saka's got GA and goals, there's been games he's not been that great when you look at his performances. And my eyes don't lie to me. I like Saka. I'm not.
So eye test. I'm okay with eye test. I don't have a problem with eye test. I just merely have a problem with the people who say output. Has Foden produced better output than Saka?
No, but Foden hasn't had the same amount of appearances week in, week out, and a team that
Why is he not utilized as much as Saka for England?
No, but listen, for England it's a different thing. That's what the manager wants to do. So you can't use that against him. He can't select himself. He can't select himself. So that's based on what Southgate wants to do.
You perform better, you get to play.
No, but it's also on favoritism. How many players has Southgate picked that didn't warrant going to the World Cup?
Guess what?
Like Maguire.
You become a favorite based on your performance. Northside. You become a favorite based on your performance.
What is Maguire getting selected because of performances?
Yes.
Is Phillips getting,
bro? As much as you want to disrespect Maguire for Manchester United, for England, he's been good.
Bro, but he shouldn't be selected. He's not being selected because of his world-class performances, bro. Man United ain't saying we got to keep him at all odds, bro. Let's be real. Is Phillips getting called up because of his performances?
No, really? Phillips, that's favoritism.
No, but that's already two players that I'm talking about favoritism here. Tomori ain't getting selected, and he won with AC Milan, bro. So let's not
Tomori doesn't suit. Tomori doesn't suit the way he plays.
Bro, it doesn't matter who's the better player in better form and has actually delivered for his actual club. Tomori. Fair. So I think that's a little bit harsh that you say that. But like I said, yeah.
Maybe he doesn't watch the Italian league. It's not our fault. Southgate's a Premier League merchant.
But this is what I'm saying. Like those are things that are out of Foden's hands. He can't select himself. And the same way he can't select himself with Pep. And let's be real, the way Pep has developed him is working out, no? They don't have Gundogan anymore. And now when they've got injuries to Kevin De Bruyne, Foden's actually been stepping up.
To me, Foden doesn't even start for England. My midfield for England would be Declan Rice, Trent, and Jude. I think that would bang. I don't know about you. I think that would be the best midfield, and the best front three would be, call him a bum, call him whatever you want, but Rashford brings a different element of pace, Saka, and Harry Kane.
Bro, the problem that I have with Saka, yeah, is I like Saka. I think he's a top player. He can become a top player, but I feel like he's limited. I feel like he's limited in his game. And it's the same thing I say for Salah. Salah is on a different level, obviously, because he's consistently put numbers out. But as a player, if you nullify the space in and behind Salah, that nullifies the majority of his game. He works and he thrives off of space. And with Saka, he doesn't like to take on his man. He doesn't. He likes to play 1-2s with Odegaard and find space in behind. He'll never take on his man. And a lot of times he receives the ball, Saka, and he turns on his left, tries to cut in and then shoot. If those two things don't work, there's nothing else about his game. He will not do anything. It's the same thing with Martinelli. And I think he's a limited player in that aspect.
Who Sam's in the chat?
Huh?
Who Sam's in the chat saying about
Sam? Yo, what are you saying, man? Listen, make sure you're liking and subscribing, man. My guy.
Ask Sam, Mbappe coming to Liverpool, bro? What are you saying? You guys spending 500 million on him? These guys can't even get Casero. You think they're gonna get Mbappe?
Nah, it's mad. Guy, I wanted to ask,
but everyone's trying to cook me for Trent in the midfield. Sam, talk to me. I think Trent should be starting for England in the midfield. I think him, Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham would be amazing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not playing EFC or whatever. I'm genuinely serious. When it comes to his ability as a midfielder, what does England's midfielder do anyways? Henderson pretty much just did what they want Trent to do anyways. So he's solid enough defensively to play in the midfield. He's going to be on the right-hand side anyways. Declan Rice can do a lot of the hard work. He can help create, and Jude Bellingham can be basically like the runner that can do a lot of the goals from deep in midfield. I think it would work perfectly. I don't know why people keep saying Maddison, this guy, that guy. Let's be honest, Trent is something else.
Listen, let's get into the super chats, and then I want to ask a gal something because there's more news that's come out of Arsenal, and I want to hear your opinion on it.
What's the news?
We'll get on to it. Let me quickly run through the super chats. Bro, if El Neni becomes a starter, it's game over. Big up for the super chat.
Big up, Hafi.
I'm hearing names of players that are always injured. Tommy is never fit. Can't depend on him or Partey. Fair point. Can't depend on them in terms of injury. No bum shaking, please, Deji. This is a family show. Yeah, but this guy, I'm telling you, the guy, it's like he works at Ace of Spades, man, in America. I'm telling you, it's mad.
Yeah,
Saka is my boy, but give Foden the slight edge.
That's not the question, though.
I do. A girl's gonna pick Saka. Listen, he pick Saka, you pick Saka, innit? I pick Foden, I can't lie. Out of the two. A gal. Now, I saw this news, and we have to get into this news. Our assistant.
When did it drop?
Arteta, Carlos Cuesta being linked to the Norwich job.
What
do you think about that? Yeah. Did you not see that?
I never seen that. No.
Yeah, Arsenal assistant manager Carlos Cuesta is being monitored by Norwich, who are interested in offering the 28-year-old Spaniard his first managerial role at the end of the season.
I think that's a good thing. That's showing that Arsenal's coaching staff is really highly rated, and it will also allow Mikel Arteta to get some new faces into the training ground, and it could potentially help us.
So you'd say let him go?
Yeah, if he has an opportunity to progress his career, you don't want to step on their toes. You don't want to stop that. You want to be able to encouraging people to develop. And also in this situation, Carlos Cuesta, I don't know enough about his specific role, but we also had Steve Rounds leave. So this might allow Arteta to kind of change up his coaching staff and bring in more people with experience to help us in the final that have been there in the situations where we're going to be going forward for the next couple of seasons.
I can't lie, I didn't expect you to say that. I say let him go as well. I actually agree with you. Let him go. Let him go. I don't feel like he's irreplaceable. If he wants to leave, let him go.
What an opportunity for him to be one of the youngest ever managers in Premier League history.
That's all good, Gal, but at the end of the day, you still got to deliver, innit? It's the same with Mikel Arteta. He's one of the, if not the youngest manager in the Premier League, but you got to deliver, innit? You got to build on that. For me, this whole assistant hype, for me, is just hype, bro. Like, we've seen Villas-Boas, and we saw what he done. You know what I mean? What we've seen the assistants for yeah, it's true though, isn't it? Like, when you look at the assistants, like, bro, like, what are these guys doing? Like, for some of the greatest
managers, enjoy himself, man.
Huh? Let him go. Let him go. I don't care. Let him go.
Fulfill his dream. If he goes and becomes Norwich manager and he beats us in a game, I'll be pissed. But fucking hell,
who's better, Carlos Cuesta or Airport Albert?
The question is, would you let your second in command leave, knowing that you've already let your second in command last season leave? Albert, I don't think he's going anywhere. That's my point.
But how influential is the assistant manager? Because Mikel Arteta was let go by Pep. He still won, still done a treble.
Mikel Arteta left City. Their defense was terrible.
Yeah, but they still won a treble, didn't they?
They still won the league that year, if I'm not mistaken. But their defense were terrible since Arteta left. Until the next season when they fixed it up. Let's be honest. Arteta left. City took a little bit of a dip defensively. Arteta was a big part of that defensive unit. And he also was an individual coach with some of the wingers. An assistant coach can have a big part to play. We've seen, Jose Mourinho was an assistant coach, if I'm not mistaken, at Barcelona. Like, no, he wasn't an assistant coach. He was a translator, bro. He wasn't even a coach. He was a translator. That was his role originally. Like, there's so many great minds in football that don't get discovered right away and are doing other work for other people. I think you might not rate Mikel Arteta, but at this moment in time, I think Arteta is viewed as one of the most innovative young managers in the game.
But how's he innovative? What has he brought to the game that Pep didn't bring?
What has he brought to the game?
Yeah, that Pep hasn't brought.
I feel like he's found a good mix between the defensive side and the progressive, beautiful style of football. Like, and this Arsenal team hasn't won anything yet. So until we win major trophies, people are not going to say, "Oh, what has Arteta done? What has his game brought?" But at this moment in time, I'm just gonna let the performance on the pitch do the talking, because I think Mikel Arteta, a lot of people see it, but Northside, you're not going to be able to ever see it until you actually see him get over the line and have that silverware. You're an end product guy. You might not be an end product guy in football when it comes to goals and assists, but with managers, you definitely are. So no matter what I say to you, you're just gonna say it's bullshit.
No, but you're talking about end product. That's what it's about, no?
No, I get it's about end product.
As an example,
I get, bro. What I don't understand about you is when I tell you a player has goals and assists, you're like, it's about eye test. But when it's about managers, it's about end product.
No, it's not. I think it's about both.
I think there's a perfect balance between both. You can see a manager's great.
Player.
Right now, Xabi Alonso's top of the league in Leverkusen. They bottle the league and they don't win it. You're still going to say Xabi Alonso is a top manager for what he's been able to do with Leverkusen, right?
No, I think he should be sacked. At the position that he's at right now, he should be sacked. But it's true, though.
Not only will he not get sacked, he will get rewarded with a job at Liverpool or Bayern Munich or Barcelona.
Yeah, I know, because these days you're rewarded for failing. Listen, if you go to, for example, if you go to work, Igal,
surely you can't compare.
If you go to work, yeah, we all work, yeah. You go to work, yeah. You come in no matter what, whether things are going on with your personal life, you're not well, whatever. Is it toxic and negative? Your manager at the end of the month, at the end of the year, to say, you know what, we're going for a review. You need to improve here. You need to improve there. We need you to do this. You need to do that. Do you say, yeah, but context? I wasn't well. This happened to my family. This, and that. No, it's about end product. This is a job for these people. They're not doing it for free. This is a job, and within a job, they criticize. You're going to be criticized in your performances, and if you don't hit it, you're going to be critiqued because they're paying you for a service. There's no different with football managers, bro. You are paid to win trophies. If you don't win trophies,
I hear you. Can you do me a favor? Just check private chat. But when it comes to everyone in the chat, I want to know what you guys think. I want to know, how much do you guys actually rate Arteta? Because I rate Arteta better than you guys, I think. I rate Mikel Arteta as one of the best managers or best upcoming managers in this game at this moment in time. And when it comes to Mikel Arteta, I think he gets a bad rap because Arsenal bottled the top four. I think he gets a bad rap because of the situations that have happened in the past. But if you guys actually look at the way that we've improved, the signings that we've made, the culture change that's been done, everything that's happened to get this Arsenal team to this step that we've gotten to. You don't do that if you're an average manager. You don't get to this stage with this team and the progress that we've made if you're a shit manager. You don't get to challenge City and Liverpool to league titles if you're a shit manager. Like, can we admit that this guy is actually a top manager? He just hasn't delivered that major trophy yet, hence why you guys can't judge him that way. But a lot of people can see the signs of him being a top manager that he can become.
So you want me to rate him for being a nearly man? Because so far he hasn't delivered. Do you rate Poch like that when he was a nearly man with Tottenham? Did you rate Brendan Rodgers like that when he was a nearly man with Liverpool? I don't understand. Like with Arsenal, we have to rate a nearly.
Can you repeat who Pochettino, when he was at Tottenham and he had them challenging for the league? Every single person said what he's doing is amazing and he's one of the best young managers at that time. Because he didn't win for consecutive years at the end of his reign, people called him a loser. But he was still given that PSG job and people had high hopes for him at PSG. And now at Chelsea also. But eventually it gets to a point you have to start delivering.
Okay, cool. Exactly. And he's at that point. It's been 4 years. He's at that point now. I think Arteta
still is missing pieces to the final puzzle. But
that's his fault.
You could say it's his fault. But I believe if he was given those pieces, this team is currently punching above its weight and would get even better odds of winning major honors if we were to have that final piece to the puzzle.
Igal, you snooze, you lose. This manager decided to get a goalkeeper yeah, and Havertz, instead of investing it in a striker, that's his fault. You got rid of Aubameyang years ago. This manager has not invested in the right winger since he's got to this club, yeah? If something happens to Saka, that's your fault. This manager inherited a bench that ain't good enough. He's the one that decided to go get Lokonga and players like that instead of going and investing in Maddison. That's your fault. That's your fault. He's had full control and how he wants to mold his squad. If you're still light after 4 years, you snooze, you lose.
But guess what?
We didn't have these arguments for Ole. He got given money. He got given money. Do you think he probably said, "Oh, you know what? I still need this piece and that piece." Football doesn't wait around for you.
Northside, you would have sacked Klopp before he won them the friggin' first trophy.
No, I would have actually had a bit more faith in Klopp because Klopp's actually been there and done that. The problem with this manager is he's never been there and done that. So what is there that for me to hold on to?
Okay, so there you go. What is there to hold on to? You know what's there for me to hold on to?
Go on.
I have the faith that he's built this team to where we've gotten to right now, based off the back of his ability as a manager and his ability to for players to buy in. The recruitment that he's been able to do, like Declan Rice, bro, we don't get Declan Rice if Arteta doesn't go speak to him. Arteta's been able to speak to these players.
Do you think Declan Rice was sitting there thinking, I can't wait to play for Arteta, or I can't wait?
He said it himself. Declan Rice said it himself.
Like it's because of Arteta, bro.
I am telling you right now.
He's not Arsene Wenger, bro. He's not Arsene Wenger.
Listen, you put Arteta in the room with Ivan Toney. If tomorrow Liverpool wanted to sign Ivan Toney and Arsenal wanted to sign Ivan Toney, we're getting him because of Mikel Arteta. I'm telling you right now, people rate a lot of. Do you rate any other manager in this league besides Pep and Klopp?
Any other managers? No, I don't. No.
So you only rate people who win trophies, right?
Yeah. That's the
if
whole
Mikel
point.
Arteta was to leave Arsenal and he was to deliver major trophies at Barcelona or PSG consistently, then would you rate him?
Yeah, because he's won.
But then would you look back and say, oh, it was a mistake to sack him then?
No, because by the same logic, why are you not looking like that for Unai Emery? Because Unai Emery had a bigger CV of winning elsewhere, and you man didn't say.
You want to know why? You want to know why? You want to know why people like me and you probably celebrated when Unai Emery was getting sacked? Is because people were coming up to him saying, "Good evening." Young academy players were disrespecting him. They had no respect for him. He lost the dressing room. The fans wouldn't even show up to games. People were annoyed by the style of football. The fact that we're facing 33 shots against Watford. Bro, when was the last time we faced 33 shots versus a lesser team under Arteta? Never happened in our lifetime, bro.
Okay, cool. You're talking about getting the most out of a team. Well, Unai Emery inherited a toxic team, still got us to a European final.
Arteta inherited a toxic team and
got us to fifth in the first season. This manager got us eighth and has gotten us knocked out to bums in Europe.
Are we going to ignore the fact that you just said he inherited a toxic squad and he won us a trophy? Huh?
No, because by your logic about, look how well Mikel Arteta works with the players, with what Unai Emery had, which is a fraction of what this manager's had. Look at what he did, even when he didn't get the players that he wanted. When he wanted,
how are you picking up a loser and then taking down?
You can call Unai Emery a loser, but the same metric. How is Arteta not a loser? Since Unai Emery's
Arteta's actually delivered some silverware with Arsenal, unlike Unai Emery.
Oh my!
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? 1 second. Am I wrong, bro?
Who got him to that point?
What do you mean? Who got him to that point? He had to work with what he had to his disposal.
Okay, go. Okay, so Mikel Arteta is a winner because he won an FA Cup, but Unai Emery is a loser because he's won in Europe.
No. I'm saying if you're going to call Unai Emery a winner because of what he did at other clubs, but then call
because you told me about what Arteta could do at other clubs. So if we're going for what the manager's done at other clubs,
if Arteta goes to Barcelona or PSG, they win the league consistently. Against Real Madrid, Barcelona, he would win the league with Barcelona. You think Xabi Alonso or Xabi from Barcelona are any better than Arteta as a manager? You're on a different thing.
I've never mentioned Xabi, but every manager I mention, it's either we don't want that kind of football or that's not realistic. So what's the point of me offering my solution? Because that's what my solution.
I don't want to hear a solution because I think Arteta is the best manager out there right now for Arsenal. And if we were to get any other manager in, it would not be worth the risk for me.
It would not be worth the risk. Arteta is so great at managing that he can't see that we need a striker, can't see that we need a winger, can't go.
He clearly wants a striker.
Good enough. No.
Bro,
And you're talking, and you mentioned something about
bids for
recruitment.
Vlahovic.
You always mention the recruitment that's worked out, and
We
never
submitted bids for Isaac.
Did we not hit FFP? Apparently, because I ain't seen the books to say that we don't have no money. We hit the books.
Are they gonna, one second.
With FFP, we couldn't spend no money. Yeah. Cool.
There was reports.
But when you look at FFP and we can't spend money, why is it, that we spend money stupidly? Marquinhos, that looks like he's going back to Brazil, and we're going to get rid of him for next to nothing now.
Bro, if we could have
got him on free. No, but you have to look at these. When you're looking at FFP and self-sustaining, you have to micro-analyze everything because every penny counts.
But if we get a profit,
FFP. Why is it?
Get a profit?
Why are we paying for Marquinhos when we can get him on a free?
But what if we get a profit?
Lokonga when he ain't good enough and he's out on loan? Why are we paying money for Nuntavaj?
You want to know something, Northside? I don't got all the answers, bro. But the reality of the situation is...
Okay, well then just say that then.
I don't got all the answers, but I'll tell you this. The reality is you're asking me 100 questions to finally see if there's something that you can stump me on. But it's not relevant. It's not relevant. There's no relevance to Arteta's management and KVR, Arteta's management and friggin' Lokonga. At this moment in time, you're going to have signings that bang. You're going to have signings that flop. Why is it you never speak about Gabriel Magalhaes' ability and how Arteta has signed one of the best center backs in Arsenal's Emirates era, but yet every single stream I'm on with you never big up Gabriel Magalhaes as a signing, but you're quick to mention Lokonga and all these other guys. Bro, keep it consistent. Arteta has done a great job. Arteta has done a great job building this team. And if he ever does get sacked or he does leave, the next manager will be thanking him for the squad that he's built.
Okay, that doesn't take away that if this guy is good enough to get me over the line. You're talking about Gabriel. Whenever I bash Gabriel.
I never said you bashed him.
The problem is, I never said you bashed him. Where we went short. You look at last season as 93% were top. I'm looking at it like, what's that missing 7%? And have we attended to that? And the answer is no. Not in getting another centre-back option, because like we said, Timber can only play one position if we get an injury. We've not attended to get a striker. I look at how can we get over the line? What is the missing piece? Instead of saying, this is amazing, because you're talking to me about Gabriel. We had Gabriel last season. It wasn't enough to get over the line. It's a great player, great defender, but it wasn't enough. So this is the problem. And this is why a lot of Arsenal fans had egg in their face last season, because when I was looking at what we need and the fact that the club has not attended to that, people told me just be happy. That just be happy attitude allowed us to not go out there and buy the player. And the reason I'm talking about FFP is because when you're self-sustaining and you're spending money on Trusty and you're spending money on Lokonga and Fabi Vieira that are not going to have any effect to us getting over the line, that's money badly spent. So I never said that he wasn't good in getting Declan Rice or getting Gabriel. I never ever said that. But why are you not attending? Why is it taking you so many years to get another striker that could bag goals? Why is it that you're not adjusting the bench that's been poor since you inherited this team? We didn't have a bench that's good enough. Why is that? Why are we still in that position? That is a fair thing to ask of this manager because he's had the time to attend to it. He's not like Big Ange that just walked into a team and he can't just fix it all within 1 year. You've had 4 years, bro. And you've had money.
Ange started management when Arsene Wenger was still in Japan, bro.
That's not my point, Agal. My point is he's had the time to rectify the things that I'm asking for. And he's chosen not to.
Fair enough. Let me ask you a question, though. Do you think we have a better chance of winning the UCL or the Premier League?
We're not going to win either, but we've got a better chance of the Premier League. Because we have no heritage in Europe.
Hey, we do have one thing going for us. We're undefeated versus Real Madrid in Europe.
You know what, Igal? We're just going to leave it here. Do you know what I mean? Big up to Igal. Listen, I like these shows. I like shows where there's difference of opinion. People know I don't agree with Igal. Igal don't agree with me. But at least we can do these shows and we can get both opinions. The link to Igal's channel is in the description. Make sure you are doing that. Smash up the likes as well. At least get it to 200. 242 in the building. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're smashing the likes up. And listen, even if you sub to me, even if you want to laugh at me if we win, sub to Igal if you want to laugh at him when we bottle the league. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? Engagement is engagement. You know what I'm saying? I know that the internet's going to do what the internet does. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. At least, listen, as much as I don't agree with Igal, at least he has the balls to come on the show and you know, talk about football with me, with Lee, you know what I mean? And have a debate with the other side of the coin, shall I say. But Igal, what have you got coming up, bro?
Tomorrow I do my regular show, Vibes from the Six. We're going to be talking to Sam, Real Madrid fan, about Mbappe. We're going to have City fan Vader talking about the Chelsea game. We're going to have Ches, Chelsea fan, and maybe a Liverpool fan jumping on also. No, a Manchester United fan talking about their structure. I also do TikToks, YouTube shorts on my YouTube channel, Eagle Talks Football. I'm always causing madness on Twitter, fighting 100 people. So if you want to see that also. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I recently just did a video yesterday with Lee Gunner, surprisingly. So unexpected link up there.
There you go. I remember you said to him, if you're gonna chat about me, at least put the link in the description. At least put the link to my channel in the description. Listen, that was quality, man. We need to get a part 2. Yo, Lee, man, come on, arrange it, man. You know what I mean? That video cut too short, man. I was enjoying that debate. I can't lie. I love it. I love shows with debates, man. I love it. You know what I mean?
I'm impressed I kept composure. Lee didn't do a good job rattling me at all.
Oh, you're hearing that, Lee, yeah? You're hearing that. We need to do a part 2. We need to do a part 2. You know
Bro, I think this is like we can't do something every time, because I feel like me and Lee, we've gone back and forth so many years now. Have you ever seen the video where I was saying, you're dancing, you're dancing? Have you seen that one?
I've seen it. Yeah.
I was moving mad back then.
Now, big up. Listen, people, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to Igal Talks Football. Links in the description. And without further ado, familia, we're out. Love.